Hello friends, this is Cauldron. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. We are here in Thavnair, in Radz-at-Han itself, I think, after having done the Vanaspati dungeon last time. So, let me check what these friendly folks have to say. Grah. All life must end in death, yet death in turn gives birth to new life. Such is the flow of ether. To think that natural cycle could simply be cut off. The very thought of it makes me shudder. Yeah, this is a real shock to the world of 14. The whole idea that you could just dissipate. Your ether could just dry up. Alize. After so long and so many sacrifices, we finally found a way to cure the tempered. But these poor souls, they vanish without a trace. Is there truly no saving them? Alphino. While Estinian and Vritra defend Radz-at-Han from above, we on the ground must find a means to prevent these transformations, and soon. Yeah, I don't know how frequent they are, whether they just pop up, like whether like Skywatcher over there is going to turn into a monster, but it seems like it can happen just at any time. Thancred. Stillness in the air puts me ill at ease. We must be wary. Yeah. Y'shtola. Worry not. I can see your ether and that of our companions. We have not suffered the fate of these unfortunate souls. That's good to know, I guess. Ahawan. Our radiant host has eliminated the immediate threat to the city, though it pains me to know that those beasts were once my own people. There is no telling when or where the next transformation might occur. We must remain vigilant and steel ourselves for whatever is yet to come. Alright, stealing away. Raisin brown, I don't know, honey dye. Great. Okay, you may now enter, okay, trust dungeon, great. Are these people saying the same thing now? Yeah. Okay, Ahawan. The Blasphemy Unmasked. Ahawan's burden is heavy indeed, yet he need not bear it alone. I got your back, even though I don't really know you that well. Forgive me, my friends, but I must return to Megaduta for the time being. There I can better manage this crisis and... the lightning's going off. This is looking rough up in the sky. There I can better manage this crisis and dispatch my troops as the situation demands. Alphino. In that case, we shall carry out an investigation of our own here in the city. Mayhap the residents can tell us more about the first of the transformations and the conditions under which it occurred. If we can ascertain exactly what triggered these tragic events, it may give us some insight as to a possible solution. The biggest connection I found from the dialogue in the Vanaspati dungeon was it was a connection between when people were giving up, but again, that could just be raw correlation. Alphino. Time is of the essence. Let us split into 3 groups that we may cover more ground. Alize and I will see to Paxa's path. Thancred and Y'shtola, pray make for Dharma. I leave Artha and Djinabaha and you, Gakushu. Any information you can gather on the first blasphemy or the manifestation of the final days here in the city would be most helpful. When we have completed our respective inquiries, let us reconvene in front of Megaduta, that we might share what we have learned with the Satrap. Okay. Wait, who's on my team? Graha? I think Graha's on my team. I wonder actually if I can... Yeah, I'll bet I can attune to Radz-at-Han now, or soon, if not now. Yeah, Graha. Shall we be off then? Artha is home to the high crucible of Alchemia, whose alchemists forged many of our warding scales. This seems as good a place as any to begin our investigations, don't you think? I spoke briefly with Nuhadin, the chief alchemist there, on our last visit. He should be happy to answer our queries. Excellent. Let us move, but let me talk to you first. Sometimes small talk is a little different. Let us make for the high crucible. Okay. His discerning eye may reveal to us truths we have overlooked. Okay, gotcha. No attunement available yet to the Aetherite. Nuhadin. Ah, I remember those red eyes. You were with the Scions who commissioned those scales from us, yes? I welcomed you back to the High Crucible. I welcome you back to the High Crucible. What brings you here in these troubling times? Graha. We are assisting the Satrap in investigating the crisis that plagues the city. Did you happen to catch sight of any of the creatures? Nuhadin, I did. As I was going about my work, I was disturbed by crashing footsteps, so powerful that the very ground shook. I rushed outside and could not believe what I beheld. The night sky was burning. Suddenly I heard panicked screams coming from the direction of the Balshan Bazaar. In the next instant, a monstrous beast poked its head out from amidst the stalls. A handful of the Radiant rushed to the scene, only to be sent sprawling as the fiend and its minions propelled themselves skyward. Graha. So the blasphemy came from the vicinity of the markets. This knowledge may prove useful. I thank you for sharing your tale. Well, I do believe now we know where we should inquire next. To the bazaar, then. To the bazaar? I guess it certainly sounds coincidental at this point that it's coming from the bazaar. I don't think it's going to be like it was one of the vendors that caused all this with a magic spell. I don't know what the connection with the bazaar is going to be. Varsra. Forgive me, but my shop's closed until further notice. Needless to say, we've more pressing concerns these days. Graha. We have not come in search of wares, but information concerning the enormous fiend that tore through the bazaar. Did you perchance witness anything? Basra. Afraid not, my friend. Afraid not, my friend. I was here the whole time, so I only saw its little minions. Made a mess of the place, they did. While that was all going on, the great big one tore through the west side of this bazaar. You'd have better luck asking there. What do you have to say, Graha? Discuss the textile stalls, okay. Graha. So this is Thavnarian weave. I must say, it bears a resemblance to the traditional fabrics of Corvos. It's the second time we've heard about Corvos. Small wonder, really, given that it's just across the water. Not that I'm much of an expert in Corvosi culture. I've not had the occasion to visit my ancestral home since coming to Sharlayan, and like as not, I will never reside there again. I forgot he was from Corvos. I guess that was probably only brought up in passing. That said, in recent days I felt more acutely aware of my heritage and grateful for it. It is thanks to my forebears that I inherited the royal eye, and with it the wisdom of ancient Alag. And so, well, I simply hope that my countrymen are safe. And one day, when this calamity is but a memory, I would like to see Corvos again, if only once. I hope you get to see Corvos as well. I worry that's a... No, it's not really a death flag, but it's certainly something that's going to come up again. Again, Corvos has come up a couple times now. Anything else to say here? No. Okay. Zaytanur. Is something the matter, traveler? If you are lost, perhaps I can be of assistance. Graha. Your offer is most appreciated. We are not lost, but we are in need of information. Might you know of anything about the gargantuan beast that rampaged through the bazaar? Aye, I saw it all, though I wish I had not. I was going about my work when all of a sudden a piercing scream cut through the air. I turned around, and there was the fiend, its massive body bursting through that entryway with the force of a tidal wave. Then it was gone as quickly as it came. So it was here and it left shortly after. So it didn't... That's interesting. So it didn't, like, stop to eat people or whatever. Radvira. Sisters, have mercy. What is happening to the world? What am I to do? There's nowhere safe. Yet nowhere safe right now. Maybe the moon. Graha. Settle down, friends. The danger is past. At least for now. If it's not too painful to remember, could you tell us what you saw? Radvira. First I heard the screams, then a horde of ravening beasts came charging toward us. One of them was huge, bigger than a Marid, throwing people around like rag dolls, and it was eating them. Never mind, I guess it was eating people. I hid under the counter. I saw others do the same. But the shrieking and wailing kept getting louder. More voices in the throng. Beasts or victims? I couldn't tell. I knew not what was happening. I still don't. Grahatia, that is enough, my good man. You were brave to share with us your tale. Many of your fellow merchants are safe. The High Crucible, too, has survived, mostly unscathed. Pray stay close to your friends and loved ones, and rest your mind and body while you are able. I suspect that is the most we can expect the people here to tell us. I think it best we find a place outside the bazaar where we might rest and review our findings. Yeah, that sounds good. Graha. It might distress those still traumatized by the incident to discuss what we've learned within earshot. That's very considerate of you. Judging by their accounts, the transformation had already occurred by the time the beast reached the bazaar. It tore through the west side of the bazaar and headed toward the Aetheryte Plaza. In other words, the blasphemy may have first appeared in this vicinity. That being the case, the people in the Mayhain... Mayhain? The people in the Mayhain can surely tell us more. I guess, is that the area by the Aetheryte? No, it's not. Oh, right, because they went towards the Aetheryte from here. Gotcha. Is this the club? Like the nightclub sort of thing? Or the... Yeah, it is. Not nightclub, but entertainment facility. Right. Graha, anything else to say? You could see the terror in the eyes of those poor merchants. Would that we could do something to allay their fears. Yeah, alas. Fearful Hure. Say, to be fearful, this is quite a view at least. I mean, it's not as pleasant when these things are raining down to end you, but still. Going after that enormous beast, are you? Aye, I saw it, including the very instant that poor bastard transformed. Damn the gods for putting me there. I wonder if that's the beast that I already killed. Or if this is something else. I think it's the one I already killed, right? It started over there by the window. A few men, merchants, probably, talking and drinking. Conversation that must have taken a turn for the worst. Next thing I know, their leader, I suppose he was, buries his head in his hands, and black mist was swirling about him. Then his whole body bursts apart, and there stands a hideous, slavering beast, massive and foul, all gaping maws and bulging eyes. His friend starts shrieking, and then the black mist comes again until the change takes them too. Stuff of nightmares, I tell you. I tell you what. Graha. Nightmarish indeed. Incidentally, do you perchance know who those merchants were? Fearful Hure. No, I'm a decorator by trade. Not much cause to mingle with their sort. Saw Malil the barmaid chatting with them, though. She might know something. Thank you for the tip. Anything else to say? By the time it was done, every last man at their table had turned into some hideous thing. The rest of us were lucky to escape with our lives. Yeah, seriously. Alright, Malil. Take a seat wherever you like. We're home for business, I guess. Yeah, so nothing from you just yet. Guildship Hunt Vendor, what are you? Oh, you're the one who sells stuff I've already bought. Here's a kind of a random question. Now that I've already bought these, like, I don't know, the wings, the cat, and the roll, is there anything else that can possibly open up to me beyond materia from doing these hunts? I assume not. I assume it's just kind of a supplementary thing, a little extra bonus if I want to get some experience leveling alt jobs that way, but just checking. Mareed, what do you have to say? Men transformed to beasts. I could scarce believe these horrors, but I must remain calm. My patrons and staff are depending on me. Ah, you're a good boss. Wilmera. Even after repairing all that damage, it'll take a while for business to pick up again. You mean the blasphemy? That's what the Radiant have been calling it anyway. Yeah, so the blasphemy is what I killed. I mean, that was the title of the final boss. of that dungeon. I saw it too, we all did. I was standing here at the counter as Mareed poured me a drink when suddenly there came this dreadful sound like a pained, angry groan. It was unlike anything I've ever heard. I turned around in shock, and from an ominous black cloud of mist rose this creature, enormous and ghastly to behold. As for what happened next, to recall it sends shivers up my spine. By some stroke of fortune I was able to slip outside before the beast got its claws on me. But the sight that greeted me offered no solace. The blue sky above turned red as blood. Mareed, myself, and the other survivors clung to each other for dear life until the radiant host came to our aid. Graha. Oh, you heard something, Graha. Graha. Wait, did I hear you correctly? The beast manifested before the sky began to burn. Interesting. We got Phoenix Wright on our hands over here. Nice job. Rulmera. I'm certain of it. The windows here offer a clear view of the sky, and I saw nothing out of the ordinary until the beast appeared and began to rage. That is interesting. It's unexpected. I don't know what to make of it, though. Graha. Concerning words, to say the least, and yet it is too soon to jump to conclusions. Let us talk to this Milil and see if she might enlighten us further. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what conclusion you can possibly draw from that. So, something about the beast's presence caused this, rather than the other way around, but I don't know what to do with that possible reversal. Milil. Oh, hello. Welcome to Mareed's Mahane. What can we get you? Graha. We have not come for libations, but rather for information. You are Milil, yes? We are investigating the so-called blasphemy on the Satrap's behalf. We hear it was one of your customers, a merchant, that first underwent the transformation. What can you tell us about him? Milil. He was something of a regular here, especially of late. Khalzahl was his name. He ran his own consortium, dealing primarily in the exports of Thavnarian specialties. So he dealt in exports, okay. It's through him we met Matsya. This is the guy who fired Matsya, right? Who couldn't keep Matsya on? Is that the guy? I think it is. Graha. I wouldn't have remembered that if I didn't get prompted, but I think that's who it was. Yes, the names ring a bell. Didn't you meet them both on your first trip to Thavnar? If I recall correctly, Khalzahl ran a trading operation in Yedlamad, and it was there that you made Matsya's acquaintance. It was. Milil. Yes, that is the same Khalzahl, no doubt. A rather successful man, from what I gather. Yeah, even despite the embargo. He must have been happy for the short while before he died, after the embargo was broken, or after they were allowed to trade again. That said, it was clear he had fallen on hard times. Those ghastly towers popping up everywhere cannot have been good for business. Even now, with the towers gone, the collapse of the empire has led to all sorts of problems elsewhere. The market for luxuries is surely not what it once was. Yeah, that's true. They were probably major buyers. Grahatia. Trying times for the head of a trading consortium indeed. Milil. Khalzahl was a compassionate man. Even as his own business suffered, he did what he could to provide for the artisans, fishermen, and many others who counted on him to sell their wares. He did seem like a good guy despite how things ended with Matsya. Indeed, that was the very topic of yesterday's meeting, as far as I could hear. Yet as they discussed matters further, Khalzal's tone grew grave and grim. It was then that... Yeah. Graha, forgive me. I would not have you recall the memory if it brings you pain. If I could, I would ask just one more thing. Did you notice anything unusual about Khalzahl in particular? Please, anything at all. Milil. Sorry, nothing springs to mind. Perhaps someone else can help you. Khalzahl lived for his work and had no family that I know of. His employers and associates knew him best, but they too are lost to us. Still, perhaps his neighbors knew something I do not. I can direct you to them if you believe it would help. What do you say? Yeah, we'll take it, I guess. The Blasphemy Unmasked. I don't even think of it as... He said the blasphemy's last words were, "I'm ruined." Something like that, right? They were very strange words. Because it usually doesn't refer to when you're about to die, like when you've been... Like if someone defeats you in battle, you don't say, "I'm ruined." If it's when you go broke, or when you're out of money, that you say that sort of phrase. Was this like the manifestation of his despair around business? But I mean, it sounds like things were looking at least a little bit up, or they had to be. So it's not like it hit at the... Maybe it was... I don't know. I think my guess is it's tied to that somehow, though. Amidst the Apocalypse. Malil has information that should serve you well. Khalzahl made his home in Kama, a nearby residential area. From what I gather, Khalzahl lived there since childhood and was known throughout the neighborhood. Grahatia. Kama. The name is new to me. How do we get there? Malil. I'll write down some directions. Thank you, Malil. I cannot promise you will find what you seek there, but if nothing else, it is a start. Graha. Come. Let's see where this lead takes us. Yeah, let's see. I am optimistic because it's a quest the game gives me. The residents of Kama should... excuse me, hiccups. Should know more of Khalzahl's circumstances. Okay. Walking these unfamiliar streets is quite the adventure, is it not? I can only hope we can explore Radz-at-Han at our leisure once this crisis has passed. So do I. It's an interesting choice to give us these directions as we go. Like, it's not that hard to find it, but I guess they were worried about people, I don't know, getting lost along the way, like players getting lost along the way. Okay, we've arrived in Kama. And this must be Kama. We've arrived at last. Let us begin questioning the residents without delay. No doubt someone here can tell us more about Khalzahl. Given recent events, I imagine many are taking shelter indoors. Yeah, probably. I wonder if they'll give us the cold shoulder, if it'll be like the Bloodborne answer. Who would open their doors on the night of the hunt? Alright, Madi. Khalzahl, you say? Yes, I've known him since he was a boy. If there ever was a man born to be a merchant, it was him. Always early to depart and late to return, he'd spend his days procuring the finest wares and seeking out willing customers. You could say it came to him as easily as breathing. Sadly, business was flagging of late. No surprise, really, what with how dangerous travel has become. He was cooped up in his house from dawn till dusk the other day, no doubt racking his brain for a way to turn his fortunes around. Then at night, I heard the door open. I looked out to see Khalzahl sitting on the bench, his head hung low, a man with the weight of the world on his shoulders. Graha, I see. The situation must have been quite dire indeed. Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary? Yeah, that's a no. Madi, nothing to speak of. Other than the troubles with his consortium, he was the same old Khalzahl, cordial and honest like always. These questions you are asking, has something happened to him? Oh shit, you don't know. He wasn't caught up in that terrible incident at the bazaar, was he? I don't travel much these days, but my daughters told me not to venture outside. Stuck in here as I am, I've heard little about these bazaar goings-on. Graha, rest assured, the city is safe for now, but the situation may change without warning. Way to avoid the issue, Graha. I urge you, stay close to your daughter and be prepared to take refuge should the satrap order it. Ooh. Okay, so again, it's pointing towards some relation with despair. To see the streets so empty, I wonder if some residents have fled Radz-at-Han altogether. Yeah, probably. Astra, what do you have to say? No sooner had the weather turned than those nasty beasts started running amok. We're safe here, though, surely. Yeah, surely. You're 100% safe here. Nothing to worry about at all. Davaz. I have received word that from the Radiant Host that strange monsters have appeared in town. We must help escort the citizens to safety. Are you with the Radiant Host, or... Like, are you a member of the Radiant Host and you received word from your commanders? I think so. Must be. Right, second person's going to be in here, it looks like. Paraga. Could you come back another time? I just woke up and I'm not exactly in the mood for idle chit-chat. Graha. Well, that's one way to avoid the panic, I suppose. Pardon our intrusion. You may not have noticed, but a great danger has come to Thavnair. I encourage you to stay alert, but prepare to flee the city should the situation turn dire. But before we leave you in peace, pray allow us to ask you a question or two. Did you know a local merchant named Khalzahl? If so, did you notice anything unusual about him recently? Pariga. Khalzahl? I know him. In fact, we spoke just the other day. Like many others, his business was doing poorly. Still, it seemed as though he'd managed to turn things around, thanks to a generous order from Ruveda Fibers. Why, he was practically dancing in the streets. This is what I'm saying. So it's not... There was despair in his life beforehand, but it wasn't like he hit rock bottom and then transformed into the beast. Things were looking up for him. I haven't spoken with him since, but I assume it all went well. Djinabaha may be able to tell you more, though. As I recall, he was the one who brokered the arrangement. Grahatia. Djinabaha at Ruveda Fibers. This sounds promising. Thank you, Pariga. I must have been working myself too hard. I only intended to take a short nap, but when I woke it was already sunset. Come to think of it, hasn't the sky been red rather longer than usual? That's right, and usually by 6 p.m. the meteors have stopped falling and things have stopped being on fire, but weird, day must be going long. Anything from you, Mulsarud? This is interesting. My grain and spice stores are running low, yet what if in my rush to buy them I deprive those truly in need? Look at this. This is the face of someone who would not hoard toilet paper. Graha. From what we've heard, our man Khalzahl was truly at wit's end. And it all came to a head at the Mahane. Perhaps his arrangement with Ruveda Fibers did not go according to plan. I expect this Djinabaha can tell us more. Yeah, I guess I kind of did jump to conclusions there. It seemed like things were looking up. Maybe he really did hit rock bottom and that's what triggered it. Discuss Ruveda Fibers. Discuss Ruveda Fibers with my cat. Hello, pigeon. They're farming silkworms. This must be Ruveda Fibers, where we should find Djinabaha. Jump! How's he gonna get down here? Oh, I guess he jumped with me. That's a true pal. Djinabaha. And hurry, I say, there's no time to waste. Giving orders to his troops. Graha, pardon me, but are you in charge of buying and selling here? You are in charge of buying and selling here, yes? We have a few questions that we'd like to... Djinabaha, I'm sorry, but I simply don't have time to chat. I love his veil. If you haven't noticed, we have our hands full at the moment. We must carry all our wares and equipment to safety before those accursed beasts return. By the way, look at my new hat. I have a new hat. Graha, in that case, might we be of assistance? Perhaps we could speak when the job is done. Free labor for talk, I would take it. Djinabaha, very well. You can start by helping us move our equipment. Ask the others where to put what where. Yeah, here we go. Punch that fist. Or, that would hurt. Punch the hand. Punch the open hand. Djinabaha, and you can carry our fabrics. This is just such a beautiful city. Go through that door and speak with Kamala. She'll tell you the rest. Remember, these textiles are our livelihood. Handle them with care. Nod, nod. You can count on me and my nutcracker hat. Hasya, what do you have to say? It seems that some foul fiends infiltrated Ruveda Fibers. 'Twas fortunate I was not present at the time, but I fear for the safety of my comrades who were. And anyone else here? Oh, yep. Nabrafal. This is where we... oh, yeah, no, never mind. I think we've talked to you already. Manua. Yeah, so everyone, so they keep everything nice and tightly guarded here. Okay. Kamala, hello. Rulsan. What exactly happened while we were gone? Yeah, it's been some shenanigans afoot. Shiraheen. Pray leave me alone with my thoughts. I do not wish to speak with anyone at the moment. Interesting. Okay, Kamala. This area is for employees only. Out! Out! No, I'm a temporary employee. I'm a deputized employee. What's that? You've come here to help? Oh, praise be to Mindaruva. You don't want to know how many times I've killed the avatar of Mindaruva, but you probably thank me because that was just a blasphemous interpretation of Mindaruva. Kind stranger, I welcome your assistance. On your way here, you passed 3 storehouses, yes? I'd like you to carry that small crate to Nabrafal by the storehouse near the hatchery. The crate of clothing is for Manuha, and that massive crate goes to Zaymira by the middle storehouse. Watch your back with that one. Those are all the crates we have ready. Once they've been delivered, consider your work here complete. Limited time. Okay. So where are the crates? Light crate. Alright, we'll start with the light crate. Light crate, they said, goes to Nafbrahal, right? Nabrafal, sorry. Thread, is it? You've come to the right place. We thank you for your aid. You're welcome. Alright, the second thread, the ordinary crate, is going to Manuha. I'm pretty sure, at least. If you have any crates of finished products, such as carpets, clothing, and the like, pray bring them here with our primary storehouse. A crate full of clothing, is it? I can take that off your hands. Many thanks for the delivery. You are welcome. And now the weighty crate, we're bringing to the last house on the left. The last storehouse on the left. Which is also the first storehouse on the left. Alright. Lift with the legs. Before I become a pancake, take this off my hands, Zaymira. I say, you're quite the brawny one, aren't you? A good thing, that. Never know when you'll need to defend yourself in these unpredictable times. No, that's a good point. Let's keep having small talk while I'm holding something that's like twice the size of a Rogaden on my head. A crate full of fabrics, is it? Exactly what I was hoping to receive. Here, let me put that away for you. Thank you. Alright, Kamala. I did your work. You've carried all the crates to the storehouse, you say? And so quickly, too. Why, I've never seen anyone so strong. Who's my strong little guy? Yeah, it feels like that's the tone that she's taking. I and my associates will see to the rest, so please return to Djinabaha and assure him our work is proceeding apace. To tell the truth, we're grateful for this distraction. Too many terrible happenings of late. But generous souls like yourself give me hope that we may emerge from this trial even stronger. I pray we meet here again in more peaceful times. I'd like that too. I think you're pretty great. Alright, back to, not to you. Back to you. Djinabaha. Done as I asked, have you? I have. If Kamala is satisfied with your work, then so am I. You have done us a great favor, traveler. I'm quite something. How great am I, Pigeon? Graha, I too have delivered the instruments and apparatus entrusted to me. Djinabaha, you both have my thanks. With our wares stored safely away, we'll not lose any more to those fiends. Graha, I take it that your establishment did not escape the attack unscathed. We did not. Thankfully, most of our workers had already left for the day, but those of us still here saw it all. We looked to the burning skies in confusion, and then, before we could even begin to make sense of it, a hideous creature burst through the doors, shrieking. We ran for our lives, but one of my colleagues was not so fortunate. He cried out, a scream of such agony, such terror, and in the next instant he too sprouted fearsome claws. The sight of it caused another fellow to panic, and then, just a chain reaction of transformations. He too transformed. I hope the raw memory of it doesn't make you transform. This music, the sound, listen to this. This is some A-grade horror soundtrack. Djinabaha, I'm sorry, was there something you wanted to ask? Graha, indeed. You knew the merchant Khalzahl, did you not? I believe he had some dealings with your establishment. Djinabaha, Khalzahl, I know him well. We'd arranged for his consortium to deliver a large shipment of fabrics, but in the end we received a better offer and had to turn him down. I understand his business is struggling, but so is ours. Another of our most reliable trading partners agreed to transport the goods for a much smaller commission, and we'd have been fools to refuse. Yeah, it's understandable. I felt terrible for withdrawing the offer, but you must understand, we simply had no choice. Yeah, it wasn't your fault that he turned into a monster. He tried to put on a brave face when I delivered the news, but his dejection and despair were plain as day. He said he'd hoped to discuss it. He said he'd discuss it with his associates, but I could tell he'd all but given up hope. Yeah, it sounds like this was his last hope for his business. Graha, dejection and despair. You remember what we saw in Vanaspati, yes? Soldiers and jungle dwellers pushed to the very brink, turning into beasts one after the other. It would seem the same phenomenon occurred here. The poor craftsmen attacked by the fiends as well as those that witnessed it, all undergoing the change. I suspect everything began with Khalzahl. By all accounts, it was he who suffered the most from the most profound and piercing despair. I guess. Wait, could it be? That such intense emotions were what triggered his transformation. I mean, that's what I've been thinking. It's got to be just this particular kind of intense emotion, like despair. I don't think you'd see people like having sex and turning into beasts as they climax or anything. Grahatia, much remains clear, but I believe we are drawing close to an answer. At any rate, we must discuss our findings with the others. Okay. Djinabaha. Can the despair in a man's own heart consign him to such a terrible fate? I think in this very specific ethereological context, then yes. Graha, beyond the depths of despair. This is a joyful session. You know what? I'm actually out of time right now, and so we're going to venture beyond the depths of despair next time. Yeah, that's going to be it for me. Thanks for watching. I will see you all later. Beyond the depths of despair. All right, bye-bye.